if you can hit with pace like that, it's so difficult to deal with.
It's interesting, isn't it, the dynamics of this court, the conditions, because, like you say, you've got a really fast front wall, but then because it is so cold in the arena, once the ball gets to the back, it really stops, doesn't it? So if you get beaten by a ball mid-air, you know, you've really got your work cut out trying to dig that ball out of the back of the court.
Well, that's absolutely right. It is fast off the front wall, but it's dead in the corners, especially those back corners. So it really does reward good quality tight squash as well as hard hitting. If you play loose on here, you're finished really. You have to be so well concentrated.
Well, the ball's just stopping short from Rex Hedrick then. He'd set himself for a longer shot and ball getting nowhere near him.
Well, it was a little bit fortunate as well from Sion Rosner, because he didn't quite get the straight line that he wanted, but he won the point anyway.
Rosner's certainly looking pretty comfortable on the court, even though it's very early in this game. I see the German taking control of the middle of the court. He's not leaving that central area very often, is he? Generally, if you're in the middle of the court, your opponent's in one of the corners. That's a great shot. There's a little hold at the top of the swing, and it just stopped. If you watched Rex Hedrick there, he went down onto his heels, and it's so hard to recover then, isn't it?
Well, you've got to cover the booming straight drive or cross-court drive from Rosner's massive forehand, and it's such a high backswing. He takes it so late sometimes with a little bit of wrist. It's almost impossible to read.
Well, again, you just see the wrong movement from Rex Hedrick. Of course, every time that you do stop and start, it just takes a little bit more out of your legs every time.
Rosner just a little bit loose there on his cross court, not quite finding the accuracy, and Hedrick taking advantage. And another error from the German number one.
Was that cross court volley Nick put him in all sorts of trouble, didn't it? It was as soon as on this court, if you give your opponent that free hit, they can really wind up and sort of unleash onto the shot. If they get it right, I mean, you're under so much pressure just to get back into the rally.
Well, I've played on this court a few times in the past, and it's a real confidence court. If you're playing well and really confident, you can sort of hammer people. But if you're feeling a little bit negative, it's a nightmare to be on this court. I don't know why. I'm not exactly quite sure why that is. I mean, we were saying about how dead it is in the corners, but it's a strange court.
I mean, you quite often find, don't you, with the glass court, it can be such an unforgiving place. If you get it slightly wrong, it can all unravel very quickly, and you can be off the court before you blinked. And I think maybe the fact that you've got these extreme conditions where it is really fast off the front, but then really dead in the back corners, I think that means that there is no hiding place if you are missing your targets.
Absolutely. That's good play from Rex Hedrick, moving nicely. As we said, he looks pretty light, so it's not laboured in any way, moving on to into the front of the court.
A bit like you playing your practice match earlier, Parky.
Thanks. It's another nice compliment. What's going on?
Well, right at the beginning of the week. You only came in yesterday, so...
Plus I was on court with Beechel and Goff, so I didn't get too many compliments there.
I did pop my head over briefly, and it looked like a fierce battleground. There we saw some good movement from Hedrick, but obviously the work that he put into that rally meant that in the end he was sort of finished off by Rosner.
Well, it was a fantastic hold as well from Rosner. Normally he gets onto the ball really early and tries to beat you with pace, but that was a wonderful hold on that backhand side.
He's getting more subtlety to his game, isn't he, the German player?